Teddi is a self-taught butterfly hobbyist, and she's been at it for 20 years, plus 20 years. She is an award-winning photographer, a fitness manager, a master gardener, master naturalist, master conservation specialist. Hey, I didn't know that. Her gardens were also featured in Butterfly Gardener, which was just recent, wasn't it? Yeah. An honorable mention, Atlanta Edwards Garden of the Year contest. She is a member of the Tarrant County Master Gardener chapter, Bring Back the Monarchs to Texas Committee. I didn't know that either. She's a Native Plant Society of Texas on our chapter and Native Prairies Association of Texas. She has also completed Native Landscape Certification Program and a volunteer advanced training in etymology. And we always talked about your therapy dog, Frida. So let's give Teddi a big look.
Thank you very much. I think I'm taller, so we good. We good. Is it right here? You can cut it off, Piper. My first time to talk on Zoom, so pull it. Okay. This is my world. Got parents. I raised 2 boys, lots of animals. You can see everybody. I share this because, can you see me on here still? I'm going to move around. I share this because 2020 was crazy for me too. I went through chemotherapy for endometrial and another cancer too. Endometrial, peritoneal, all kinds of stuff. It was crazy. But I share that because everywhere I went, I kept seeing monarchs. And it was like, okay, that's my sign that I'm probably going to be okay. And the cool part, I started my treatment when they went down into Mexico and did all my treatment. And then when I was finished is when they were coming up. So it was really cool. But that was my definite sign that I was going to be okay. And here I am. And I love this quote, just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly. So that is a little bit about me. Am I good?
We'll get all of that.
Oh, you're right here.
You're a little tall.
We need to be on this.
Move it back to that. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm 6 foot.
Polly says that's great.
Okay. Has anyone seen this image before?
No.
Okay, I love it because it says a picnic without bees. So pretty boring if we didn't have our pollinators. Taco Tuesday, you wouldn't have anything, not much. So what you would have is on the right if we didn't have pollinators. And then you guys know more than bees, butterflies, wasps, moths, beetles, flies, birds, bats, wind. So lots of pollinators. And how I started, it was about 2004, and I was visiting my mom, and I saw what I thought was just a really pretty worm on her parsley. Can anyone tell me what that is? That's actually the herb parsley, but which caterpillar is that?
Black swallow.
Yeah, so that's the one right here on your sheet, black swallowtail. And then I love the little comics. It says you're gonna feel pretty stupid if it turns out you're not a monarch. Because everyone kind of thinks that's a monarch, but it's not. It just looks similar. So then I went to, I think it was Home Depot at the time. We were planting for our house, and I saw this crazy plant, and I thought, wow, I want that flower. And then it was covered with these caterpillars, and I thought, oh, what did I bring into my yard? What did I do? So I Googled, and I'm like, okay, this is a good thing. It's okay. It ate it down, and it came back. So who has this plant in their yard? Good job. Passion mine. And then I'm excited because I actually just got the variegated this year. So finally, I wanted that one because that chrysalis is so pretty. So pretty.
And chrysalis is pretty.
Yeah, I love it. Does anyone remember Green Mamas from North Richland Hills? I'm sad they're gone, but we have a lot of new places. So I used to go there on my break during work. I work for the city of North Richland Hills. And I would just walk through and look at all the plants and look at all the butterflies. And I started to take pictures there. And we had just bought our home, but I didn't put it together at the time. Like, I can put this in my yard. And so I talked to them there, and she said, well, if you want butterflies in your yard, just weed. At the time, it was tropical, so my apologies. But I planted it, and 80 caterpillars on one plant. So if you plant them, they will come. And then I bought more and more and researched, and here I am today. And then our yard was actually featured in the Star Telegram. That is my other Irish setter, Cooper. And there's a quiz on the dogs later. So then I went through a life change. I got divorced. So I don't recommend it, but this was my divorce therapy. So I moved into this yard and I was really sad. And the one thing that he said, if you can turn this into something beautiful, if anyone can turn this into something beautiful, you'll be able to do that. So that's my yard today. And then this is a little article that we just had in the North American Butterfly Association. So that was before and after, probably about a 3 or 4 year process. Am I still too tall? Do I need to move back? Okay, now we're good. It must be growing while we're talking. I'll do this. I'll do the high school students that I used to do.
Oh, you unplugged trees.
You unplugged. There you go. Look at your farm. It's really good.
I wonder what that is though. So 3 or 4 year process. And my goal was just to have flowers and nectar like every month out of the year. So you think in Texas, is that possible? But it's possible. And I do have some non-natives, so don't string me up. Learning. Okay. They're so pretty.
Would you say zinnias?
Yeah, I have zinnias.
I'm having
so-
zinnias this year too. 'cause I
Okay.
can't.
All right. Then I don't feel so bad. If you have them, I'm okay. So, and then I've been asked before, like, who took all these pictures? The pictures are mine and they're in my yard, or you'll see the butterflies. That's my hand. So, and I wanted every color in the rainbow. And I actually have black hellebores, so, and white hellebore that just came out. So just like you were talking about the water. So I would water and water my front yard, and going through these programs, I'm like, I can't do this. I have to practice what I'm preaching here. So I stopped watering. You can see the grass died. And I just pulled everything out that died. Sorry, there's more. Is there a problem again? Oh, okay. Sorry, there's lots. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I pulled the grass out where it died. That was probably 2 summers ago when it was super, super hot. And this is it today. You can see the health strip. It's mostly, if not all, natives there. And then right when I put that little rock formation, a butterfly landed in the water, and I'm like, okay, that's why I'm doing this. And it's funny, whenever we started putting the rock in the top part, okay, you can see where the arrow's pointing on that side. It's a monarch egg. So a monarch came in and laid an egg right when we planted that, and I'm like, okay, we're doing the right thing. See, point at it right there. I do like these. I watched Homegrown National Park. You guys are probably familiar with Calamy. If you're not, look it up. But these are crazy stats. Every 30 seconds, football field worth of America's natural areas disappear to development. An area larger than Ohio is paved over our streets. 44 million acres of lawn that was watering. So that's what I would do. I'd be out there watering, and I'm like, this is silly. It's a scam. I'm watering, it grows, I mow it, I water. It makes no sense. And then learning through native prairies and everything, I'm like, no, I have to stop. So my neighbors thought I was crazy. Now they understand. Okay, so what I'll do is go through about 6 of the butterflies that we have in our area. The first one Eastern black swallowtail. So there actually is some prairie parsley over there. So go run and get some. The non-native, of course, still fennel, parsley, and then rue. Does anyone plant rue? Okay.
Be careful.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem. I'm really sensitive skin-wise, and I haven't had a problem with it. But I know Callaway stopped selling it because of its skin sensitivity. But if you can get rue, it stays green in the winter. Keep it in a pot because it doesn't like water. And then you'll get 2 butterflies out of that one. And we'll talk about that. Also, if you plant vegetables, they're going to eat your carrot tops. And then golden Alexander. We were talking earlier, and I've noticed this. They don't tend to go to the natives as much. They eat the non-natives. And I've noticed that with every butterfly. Has anyone else noticed that? So my thought is the natives taste like vegetables, the non tastes like chocolate, right? Maybe. So this is your egg. There's your caterpillar. And then it says, something's different. Did you lose weight? Who knows which one's the female versus the male? Yep. The blue, which is strange because they think blue boys, but the blue is the female. She looks a little larger. She's a lot closer, but she's a little larger. And then the osmeterium. Oh. What's that?
I thought there were 2 different butterflies.
Oh,
And I've been
yeah.
doing this for how long?
There's your male and there's your female.
Okay.
And then if you touch him while he's on the plant, he's going to shoot his little horns up and it's going to stink. He's not going to spray anything at you. It's not going to hurt you, but you're going to be like, oh, what is that? It's really pungent. Anyone do that? It's stinky.
I didn't know that either.
But it's a defense organ. So he's just telling you like, hey, I'm this bad thing. Get away from me. And you're going to go, ugh, it stinks. And he's driving the predators away. So he thinks you're a big bad predator. So this is the other butterfly you can get with rue. So does anyone have citrus trees in a pot in your garage right now? Probably. Yes. Yeah, they're blooming. So open your garage and it can get some sun right now. But yeah, lemon, lime, orange, rue, toothache tree or wafer ash. Good job. There's your native plant. So you'll get the giant swallowtail, not to be confused with the tiger. So this is the tiger swallowtail. You can see little tiger stripes. So I haven't had luck. I have a cherry tree for him, for that one, but I haven't had him yet. So I don't really talk too much about it until I have him in my yard. But there's a quiz, be ready. That's your tiger, and then there's your giant. And then you'll see this. Who does he look like? He looks like your Eastern black swallowtail. So it gets confusing, but you can kind of see the stripes when you see them out in the sun. So they're just trying to trick us.
So are those all the same? The 1, 2, 3?
Right here, those are all tiger.
Yeah, but
It's just the
why are there so many different plant variations?
just the coloring. Yeah. There's a dark, what do they call it? Dark morph. Yeah. And then which one's the poo? They're also called the bird poop caterpillar. So this is the bird poop, and there's your caterpillar. Isn't that crazy? So if you're looking at your citrus tree and think it has poop all over it, it may or may not. And then there's your caterpillar. And these are the biggest butterflies for us. The caterpillars eat so slow. They don't move. They don't do anything. Has anyone had them and noticed? They just hang out. And it makes no sense. They're the biggest. There's your egg. All right, now your fritillary or fritillary. I've heard it both ways. The third one. So there's your egg. There's your caterpillar. I've touched those. It's okay. It won't hurt you, but we don't touch them because something's going to be on our hands that they don't like. And then you want your incarnata. And then what does he say? You've changed. We're supposed to. And then that's your gulf. And then there's your variegated. Okay. Anyone have pipeline? Who has pipeline? Okay. Do you have the native or the non-native or both? Yeah, but so are you noticing?
Did y'all get about the plant?
Yeah, the Fimbriata or the tomentosa.
They like the Fimbriata.
Yes, again with the non-native, right? And I'll show you the tomentosa later, but and then these guys, they eat and eat and eat. Like they're smaller than the giants, but you can't keep up. I kept going to North Haven years ago. They were the only one where I could find the plant, and I would drive all the way to Dallas. I need 10, I need 20. And that's when they were $5. Now they're not $5. So I literally probably have about 80 plants, and I still can't keep up. And then I bought the tomentosa, which grows taller. They don't care for it. They'll have like 10 on there, and then everybody's on the other one. So I don't understand that. If anyone knows the answer to why, besides it tastes like chocolate, let me know. But they'll lay in clusters, and they're so cute. They just hang out in little clusters. And then this picture is because I had to move them from one plant to another because they've already devoured that plant down. So a little different. This one is your female, and that one's your male. So it gets confusing. And the easy way to remember them, they just have one row of orange, where the Eastern Black has, I think he has a couple rows. What's that?
If the black swallow tail break things out, it's like this is flash.
Right, right.
Or she.
That's right. And I think it's 2 rows or a row and a half of the orange. Fifth one, Queen. And let's see, no, we're doing Monarch. Monarch. Who has monarchs in their yard? Who has tropical milkweed in their yard? No one has it. Good job, or you're not going to raise your hand. I wouldn't either. So I did learn the hard way, and I'll tell you in a little bit. I did go to Mexico and I saw them, and they did talk about tropical. Luckily here it freezes down, so if you do have it, don't feel like you got to go out and rip it out. Over time, maybe replace it. But it does freeze down, so it's okay. But it stays up longer. So if you have it, it probably hasn't done too much freezing down right now. And the problem with it is it stays up and flowers longer, and they stay here longer. And then they get caught with the cold. And they're not migrating, so that's why you don't want to do it. And then it's hard to cut it down because what I was doing, I had tropical and then I had the native. When the native started to die down, I just cut the tropical. Well, it's flowering and pretty, and there's bees all over it, and it's really hard to cut it. So it's easier just not to have it. So there's your monarch.
Okay. How hard was it to get your milkweed to grow, though?
In the health strip, it went crazy. I don't water, and it's hot. Super happy out there. Isn't that crazy? And that's the green.
You don't water very much?
Not anymore. Yeah. So the green milkweed does really good in that health strip, and in the yard I have the other one, the
Yellow.
thank you, and it does really good. But the green gets bigger.
You're gonna
and
give
a
us
little
like that.
Nah. So there's your monarch, a little less orange, the hue. They look really similar, but your queen is going to have a third set of tentacles. And then he's got a little bit of red, but sometimes you can't see that red. I got a message from someone, I don't know if he's here, he's a master gardener yesterday. And he said, I have a monarch. I was cutting down my cannas. Don't cut your stuff down yet because they're all hiding in there and doing things. And I'm like, a monarch. So he sent a picture and it was a queen. I said, do you have tropical milkweed? That's the only thing I could think of why it was there. But he said, no. So it was hiding in the cannas. So don't clean up yet. We'll talk about that too. And then there's your egg. And then your little baby caterpillar that's going to grow. Any questions yet? Yep. Y'all know all this stuff. Okay, this is how you tell if it's a boy. So it's a male monarch and then the male queen.
I didn't know queens had it.
Yeah, so it's kind of a defunct pheromone sac. They don't really use it. They don't do anything. They just find her and they take her out of the sky. Has anyone seen that? Into the bushes, and then no dates, no dinner, nothing. And they make. So, and it's kind of loud. I remember being outside and then I just hear this rustle and they fell into the garden and I'm like, okay. Don't look. This is your monarch, and then there's your queen. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit different green, and then sometimes pink. Boys or girls are pink. Yeah, so some people think, oh, is it a girl? But not necessarily. And then whenever it's about to come out, it goes clear like this. And if you wait, it's not going to come out. If you leave and go to the restroom, it's going to come out. I think they know we're out there. And then this right here just kind of shows that cycle. I won't read it all to you. Everybody kind of knows, but the first, second, third, fourth generation. So here you can kind of see the wings. And then I have a video. Let's see if it works. This is real time. And you can see a giant swallowtail back there. So what you'll notice, see how it's in two pieces or more right there? His job is to zip that and make it one so he can eat. If he can't get it into one, he won't live. So you see two, and then he works to close it.
Say that again. What does he do?
The proboscis, I can't say the word.
It's two.
When he comes out, it's divided, and he's working to put it and make it one so he can eat.
Oh,
Or she.
and they did that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you say that again?
Yeah.
I know what I'm looking for. this
What's
time.
that about the proboscis?
So when he comes out, it's in two pieces. See,
Oh, it's right.
it's like in two pieces. So whenever he gets free, you'll see him working to make it one piece. Then he can eat. If he or she can't do that, then it's not going to live. But now the frantic trying to get it to be one. And then you can kind of see here where it's neon. So see how the wings are really crumpled and really small. He's gonna hang out for probably 2 to 4 hours. So he's pushing his fat belly, all that fluid into his wings. And you can see it here how it's neon. And then once it's not neon, then the wings have hardened. They're not wet. You'll hear people say that they're drying, but they're not. Right? So they'll harden and then it can fly off. So that is what they're doing. Yeah, so I say that they're not wet. So if you're a monarch, you don't want to be eaten, or if you are not a monarch, the predators think the monarch is toxic because of the milkweed. So you're going to want to look like them, right? So nobody eats you. So you've got your monarch. Here's a viceroy. See the little black line? That's how you tell that that's a viceroy. Red admiral, painted lady, your queen, and your soldier, very similar. And then even your fertility, because I'll get a lot of people, they'll say, oh, I've got monarchs. You got fertilities. So any questions or comments, Claire?
You have several on speech.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So, Anna, can you tell me this, when you didn't survive, did it carry the disease down to Mexico?
It was the question on the disease, the OE. I forget how you. Does anyone know how to say it? It's a long word. I can't remember. But yeah, they will spread that. That's a good question. I would think so because they're asking if the OE gets spread and taken into Mexico. It does get spread among them, so I'm sure if they're healthy enough to make it to Mexico, it would spread. Okay. Right now. The question was the OE virus, if it gets taken from here to Mexico, and I would think it could because it's going to spread among the monarchs. If they're healthy enough to make it down there, they'll be able to spread it to the others. Okay.
Passion vines, how many passion vines do you have, and how do you keep them alive during the cold?
Oh, how many passion vines do you have, and how do you keep it alive during the cold weather? Oh, okay, the caterpillar eating the passion vine. They're gonna strip it down and it will come back. Has anyone else had that experience? Yeah, it comes back. It does freeze back. Mine always has. The native or the non-native has froze back, but then it comes back. It might come back over here, but it comes back. Is that it? Any other questions in here? Okay. And if you guys have other information, I'm still learning. So if you're like, that's not right, let me know. If you cut your milkweed, close your eyes, because if you've ever cut it, it's got that toxic milk sap in it. You don't want to get that in your eyes. I haven't, but I read on a forum where they had to go to the eye doctor. Has anyone got that in their eyes? Oh, what happened?
If you take a shower.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Like shower really fast, get it out.
Shower, like.
Use a hose. Yeah.
I just took a shit.
But you're okay. That's good. You didn't have to go to the eye doctor. This person must have gotten a lot in their eye, maybe. Okay, that's good to know. And what does he say? Hurry up and change the migration of spring. Okay, this is very depressing. So here's where we used to be. This was in the 90s. The 90s were great for everyone, right? This is 23-24. And this is the monarchs in Mexico. So we did have a lower year, 13-14, but we're close.
That's when I started 20.
See, this is from when I went to Mexico. It looks like bark on the street. It's completely covered in butterflies. And that was 2017. So habitat loss is the problem. Overwintering, habitat loss down there, and then climate, the drought, and then pesticides. Anything else? Development, yeah. Yeah, they're losing their habitat. I remember seeing it.
Fires in California.
The fires in California, yeah, because I was reading, there's a whole section in Pacific Grove, and they had some problems there. Pacific Grove, California is where a lot of them overwinter. And then you probably know in Mexico, they're logging the trees. So there's a big thing trying to keep them from logging those trees.
Still have a group planting them. I don't know how well fast they grow, but
yeah, I saw a lot of that where they're planting them just to try to replenish. So I did get a chance to go, I think 2017. It's really fun. You finally get there, then you take this little truck and then you ride a horse and it's really dusty. And then you hike, and then I finally got there and this butterfly landed and I started crying because it was so amazing. And that was a big bucket list trip to go do. That is all butterflies. And if you zoom in, this is what it looks like. And they're not hanging on each other because they would tear their wings. They're hanging on the individual leaves of that tree. So does anyone know why they go there? We don't really know.
Like warmer.
Yeah. And it's the right climate for them. There's usually, it's not too cold, not too hot. They love those trees, but we don't really know why they do this whole trek. Nobody knows. This guy, I think a guy, yeah, he was in my yard. Yeah. Look how beat up he is. So he stayed for 2 weeks. And my backyard, you can go back and forth, back and forth. And he did that for 2 weeks. I'm assuming he was looking for his mates because he wasn't going to make it, you know, obviously with all that damage. But that was really cool. Multi-generational journey. It's usually the super generation that travel. They're bigger. Have you noticed they're in the fall here? So those are the ones that are going to travel about 100 miles a day, 3,000-mile trip, 8 to 9 month life cycle. The ones that stay down there. Otherwise, it's like 2 to 6 weeks. And then it's about a 4 or 5 generation that returns. So if you haven't gone, has anyone gone? It's amazing, right? And it's so quiet. It's really strange because it's so quiet. You can hear them flying. So if you get a chance to go, definitely do it. So 6 butterflies with these plants. Rue, you'll get 2. Okay, so butterfly weed, that is our native, right? And then fall Antelope, oh, okay, I said, you wanna do butterfly weed because it'll come up in the spring, you might catch the spring migration. And then antelope and green, or I've had luck with this one, Zyzo. Is that how you say it? What's that?
Serbian is his.
Yes, thank you. I've had luck with that one too, but they've come back, they've been fine, but just not a lot of water, they love it dry. And then you will get the queens and the monarchs on that. And that's the only food they eat. And again, the tropical, it grows later in the season, so it keeps them here and they're not migrating, so not good. So here's your butterfly weed. There's your tropical, this guy's hiding in there. Probably a girl. She will eat the butterflies, she will eat hummingbirds. Has anyone seen that?
Saying the butterfly.
Yes. This is what your butterfly weed is gonna do. Does anyone have that happen in their yards?
Yeah.
So if you haven't planted it and I'm like, yeah, plant butterfly weed, and you're like, what did that lady tell me to do? Why is this all over my yard? So I just let it go. I let it go everywhere and you'll probably get like 3 plants. And then when they're about this big, I'll dig them up and put them where I want them. Does anyone else do that? Yeah.
Leave them alone and hope that.
Yeah, or if you don't want it there, put it over here. You get just a few that sprout. Yeah, so not too many. But then you get all these little bugs on them, and there's some aphids in there, and that's a ladybug. This guy's not going to hurt it. It's a milkweed bug. And then some more butterflies. Okay, and then your last 2, pipevine and passion vine. Yeah, where do you see yourself in the next 5 weeks? So this is your native pipevine. So it's a lot bigger. So you think, oh, it's a lot bigger. It's going to get taller and they're going to love it. No. But
They liked it better and they don't have native.
yeah, if you don't have the non-native, they'll go to it. But you won't have like 5,000 of them. But then this is the non-native and it's not a vining. The other one vines. This one is more of like a ground cover. And then this is your flower, which looks like the caterpillar kind of.
Mm.
And it's pretty stinky too. Kind of smelly.
Is the non-native a problem for pipevine? I know, everybody wants to do native.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem and it doesn't spread bad. I mean, I've had random ones because of the seeds, you know, and then you just move them. And the seed pod is really neat. I need to take a picture of it. It looks like a little parachute and it is full of seeds.
Does it reproduce then a lot around seed?
Where you have it, yeah. So it's nice because it just kind of opens and they drop out. So if you want to protect the caterpillars, I'll protect a few now. I used to do a lot and kind of panic and think, oh, I'm going to save them all, but then I'm disrupting everything. So I'll protect a few and take them to work to show the kids. Not that part yet. Okay, so protecting them in your yard. You want to spread the plants out. So a lot of people think like, I want a butterfly garden right here. Well, then all those predators are like, cool, I'm just going to hang out right here. So you want to spread those plants all around your yard, your host plants, your nectar plants, just all around. So that's a praying mantis. I did take a picture and I got her away from her, set her free, which is not good because she's probably very pregnant right there. And then the little animals, I have not had problems with them eating anything. And then the spiny lizards, I haven't noticed anything, but I think what the spiny lizards go for are the fritillaries, because those are always like broken off and gone, and they do their chrysalis on your fence, so they eat them. And then this lady, she took probably 3 butterflies, and then I moved her. Moved her to a different part of the yard. I couldn't handle walking out there and going, oh my gosh, she did it again. So yeah, move your stuff around. Organic fertilizers. I've been asked what do I use. I'll just use Texas tea if you have grass. It's like a granular. And then plant tone is a stinky compost that's like chicken poop. So it's kind of smelly, but it works with the flowers. And then compost your foods and all your things. Okay, so protecting them at home, if you do, this is on your handout, but I'll get these nets. And then if I need to feed them, I'll use the single rose holder for water and then feed them to keep them protected. And I started doing that Because I went out and I had milkweed. I had a bunch of caterpillars on the milkweed. And then the next day I had like 3. And I'm like, what is happening? Well, the wasps will kill them and eat them. So I was really sad. So I thought for a long time I had to grab every single one and protect them, but nature. But I will grab all the giants. I love the giants. I grab all those guys because I don't want them getting eaten by the wasps. So if you do monarchs, they'll curl up.
Controlling wasps, though, or wasps, you know.
I'll knock the things down, but my neighbors too, so it's kind of hard. And then they just come back and rebuild. You knock it down, they rebuild in that same spot. If you do monarchs, they go to the top usually, and they'll go into this J formation, and then they look like they're just going to wither away. Has anyone watched this process? And they look sick, and then they go into their chrysalis. And then what they'll do is they'll split their head open. I need to get that on video. And they wiggle their body down, and that's his little body right there at the top. So weird because that chrysalis is like inside the body. The pievine are messy. They do a big purge right after. So I try to leave them outside. When they climb up on the house or a tree, they'll purge, and then I can take them in if I want to protect them. So who has their citrus in their house right now? Not in the garage, but in the house. Okay, so I did that one year, and this guy came out in December because I didn't know there was a chrysalis on the tree because it's warm in the house. So I gave him an orange, and luckily December sometimes we have a sunny day, and he was able to fly out. Don't know if he found anyone, but yeah. So watch your tree before you bring it inside. It was crazy. And then I have this big setup. Chicken coop builder built it to fit these nets because I have possums that will break through and eat the chrysalis. But I don't do too much of that anymore. Okay, on to the plants. So this I brought up because my neighbor has a circle like this. She said, what do I put there? I need to know what plants. I'm like, well, there's so many questions. And she's like, well, just tell me what I put there. Well, you guys know. You've got to consider so many things. So you guys know I won't go through all of it. But yeah, is there sun and shade there? Is there standing rain? How big does that plant get? Because she said, I want like 4 of those salvia. Well, one is going to fill it up. So you just have to read the tag, which I learned the hard way, how big it's going to get. The maintenance, do you want to cut anything back? She's like, no, I don't want to mess with it. Do you want greenery in the winter? Do you want flowers? Do you like certain colors? Because I had a friend that didn't want any yellows. There's so many questions. Do you want bees? Do you want butterflies? Do you want birds? Host plants for insects? You probably want to put some host plants. The host plants are what the caterpillars go to, and then the nectar is what the butterfly goes to. And then think of what number of what type in that size area. Remember the size, the use of the space. Do you want something else like seeding or bird baths or fire pits? Not in that circle, but in your yard. So anyone have anything else to add to that part? So yeah, she was really shocked. She's like, I didn't know gardening was so hard. Like, yes, it is.
No, I would just say, just encourage them to, plant biodiversity in there. So they have.
Mm-hmm. If Zoom can't hear, she said, do biodiversity, plant a variety of plants. You guys probably know this. That's the recommended plant list. This is your grass root, and then there's your native plant root. So, benefits of natives. Plant natives. I won't read through all of those. What does he say? Move along, pretty boy, this flower is taken. Okay, so a few nectar plants. Again, my apologies for the non-natives. Zinnia and Cosmo, non-native, but I've also got these: mountain laurel, bee balm, kidney weed, coneflower, mist flower, obedient plant. Obedient plant, keep it in a pot. Who has that in their yard?
Had it on previous.
Yeah, does it just take over? Yeah, it's beautiful. I love the flower, but I have it in a circle, and I have to just keep pulling it.
Soft gray-green leaves.
The obedience right here. Not really soft gray. Like a Texas sage gray green.
Yeah.
Yeah, pure green. So there's your bee balm, kidney wood. Who can tell me what that is? What kind of butterfly? Say queen. Good job. All right, listen, is it a boy or a girl? That one's hard to tell. Yes. It's a boy. So right there, that little white black dot. And then this guy, Turk's cap. And I thought I had lantana here. Lantana.
That's shady for sure.
Yeah, Turk's cap is great in the sun or the shade. Any other flowers or plants that you guys have had luck with? I know there's a lot more here. I didn't list all of them.
Is the medium plant work in the shade? I think sun, the medium plant is in the sun.
It likes sun. It blooms more in the sun. But I know Bob Jones Nature Center has a medium plant and it blooms really well in their shade area. So and it spreads like crazy. Sun, some sun items, Blackfoot daisy, four-nerve daisy, Indian blanket, and then crossvine. Do not confuse that with trumpet vine. Who has ever planted trumpet vine? Awful. You can't get rid of it, right? Awful, awful. So I saw this plant right next to trumpet vine. They were together. So read the tags. Do not get trumpet vine because it will spread worse than mint. So again, crossvine, and that's your native one. Who's this guy? Tiger. Y'all are good. You're listening.
So that was tiger.
Yes, tiger swallowtail. Has anyone seen these in your yard?
Yeah.
So those are good. That's a sign of a healthy yard.
What was it?
That's a lacewing eggs. So this is a lacewing.
So.
But they'll be like on your patio. They'll be in weird places, like on the roof, anywhere else that you've seen them. Chairs.
Screens.
Yeah, screens, but it's a good sign. So some people think, oh, I got butterflies, but yeah, they're lacewing eggs. And usually you see these guys kind of flying around at night or when you water, like I watered today just a little bit and I saw lacewings flying around. That's a monarch. And then the more stuff you plant, the more bugs, the more things, and the dragonflies will come in and start eating. Any other plants you guys like for sun? Flammacanthus, yeah, that's perfect. That one loves August.
Salvia greggii.
Yes, Salvia greggii is amazing. I love that one. That's my favorite too. Need to add those. I think my updated presentation is not here. So shade groundsel. Does anyone have that? I like that one. And then columbine. The yellow one is the native. That's the only one I've had luck with. They'll sell the blue and the red. The red, I think, has come back, but not as big as this. And then I've always seen the bees on it early, and it'll come out in the spring. And it's still green. Mine is still green. Yours is probably still green. American beautyberry. Has anyone eaten those? Yeah. I haven't done it yet. Full sun. Yeah, it's good in full sun or shade. And then does anyone have the white version? I don't think that's native, but the white one's interesting to see. White beautyberry. Yeah. It's not native though, right? I didn't think it was, but it's cool to see because you don't see it very often. And then the coral berry, those are really pretty right now. Does anyone have those? All the berries, are they still on the plant? I know the birds, I guess they'll get them later. And then pigeonberry. I love that one. That I've planted. Who's planted that? And it's died, and they planted it, and it's died. So I have luck in the hellstrut. It's dry, it's hot, and it's happy.
Sun?
Yeah, in the
Is that
sun,
sun?
full sun. And it's super happy.
You still have mine.
And I tried it because Bob Jones, they have a huge one, and it's just full blazing sun. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So, and it's a shade plant, so weird. And then your Turk's cap again. Any others good shade plants that you guys like? Was that frostweed? Yeah, definitely. My frostweed will be like this tall and it's this big. So plan for that. And that frostweed is the fun one in the winter when it freezes. The stems break open and the ice ribbons come out. It's really fun.
Look for it.
That's right. It is a host plant for butterflies too. And then the monarchs love it in the fall because it's flowering. Okay, here's your obedient plant. It's so pretty and I love it because these big bees go to it, but it's gonna take over. So keep it in a pot or go out there every day and pull it where you don't want it. It's gonna just spread out, so it's not gonna just go everywhere at least. I love this black dahlia. Does anyone have that? If you love bees, get it. Walker's nursery in Haltom City, she's got some. So she'll
Are these sun plants?
that is in the health strip, doing really good in the sun. Yeah.
Dry.
This I've seen in sun and shade. This I've seen in both. That's the Ruellia. Fall aster, sun in my yard. Does anyone have that in shade? No shade, part shade. And I love that. If you love mums and you go out and buy mums every year, don't. Just plant fall aster.
They're so pretty.
They're so pretty. And everyone stops and they're like, what is that? Because it gets this big and it's just loaded with purple. Did you know that bees prefer blue and purple? So that's cool. And then again with the obedient plant, this guy.
I need to.
So does anyone know what that is right there?
Yep.
What's that? Yeah, robber fly, and he's got a little bee.
The green one.
And then it's funny, I need to put the video on here. This black dahlia, if you go by when it's blooming, it sounds like a beehive. It's so covered in bees. It's really cool. Okay, so don't look. This is all non-native. So this is my yard actually right now. So I've got the quince flowering quince or quince. I've heard both. And then the hellebore or the Lenten rose, camellia. And I just try to get the ones with all the little pollen stuff so the bees have something to go to right now. And then I have a dish, like a bottom of a pot with some water and rocks for the bees to go to, or whoever needs water, the lizards that are going to kill my butterflies. And then these are all the varieties of hellebore. I see them in different nurseries. Most of these are from North Haven if you want a big variety, but I start to see them at Weston Gardens right now, and then Callaway's sometimes. And then I think Walker said she wants to carry those too.
What are those?
Hellebore, Lenten rose,
Okay.
right here, and they'll flower in the snow. So they're flowering right now, and they're happy when it gets cooler. Okay. Okay, 20,000 species of bees, only 6 produce honey, 4,000 are native to North America, 900 in Texas. So you have bumble, carpenter, all these, mason, mining, sweat bees. Does anyone have these guys in their house, garden? If you've got vegetable gardens too, you definitely want to plant those, or have a bare spot in your yard so they can do this. Do you have a question?
Yes, is a robber bee the same as a robber? The other one that was eating the bee.
A robber fly. I haven't heard of a robber bee. Has anyone heard of a robber bee?
We had a bunch that nested in the walls of our house.
Oh yeah.
That was the diagnosis.
Huh. They said it was a robber bee in the
Yeah.
house. I don't know.
These special, this like it's all hard to put in where the bee of the cardboard.
I know robber flies do. I wonder if he just said the wrong thing. I don't know. These are great. It's not a hive, so there's no worries. But what they're gonna do if anyone doesn't have these, they're gonna put their eggs, just random solitary bees are gonna put their eggs inside there and then put leaves or mud inside there. So that's why they say have a spot that's kind of bare where there's some mud and dirt. They can grab that, or they'll get it from the neighbor. But I had bougainvilleas and roses, and that's what they would pull from. And you can see there's the bougainvillea. So if you have cutouts in your leaves, again, it's a sign of a healthy yard. Who has cutouts and all their stuff? Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
And then this was a neat little thing. I know everyone right now, you want to cut everything down. Don't do it yet. And I heard, and you guys can probably confirm this, don't cut it yet because that triggers the plant to grow and it's not time yet. So when you start to see the green growth, then you can cut back. But But if you can, compost or keep those in a pile somewhere back in the yard or just scatter them around because there could be these little eggs, little larvae inside those cuttings. So this is another way if you don't want to put these in your yard, just cut it a little bit and they're probably going to be in there and the new growth will come. Does anyone do that? Or have you noticed them in your sticks? Yeah, because they're hollow. You can keep that brush. They like that. Like I'll have certain areas that are outlined with logs. They break down and there's bugs in there and the birds are pulling stuff out. So that's a healthy yard. Okay, few other things. So who knows what that is? Frida knows. She's like, yes. Yeah, that's an asp. You do not want to touch it. It's so cute and fluffy, but it will probably feel like your arm is falling off if you got stung. Has anyone gotten stung by it? Oh, what does it feel like? Really bad. That someone I posted this one time and they're like, oh, don't touch it, it's an asp. It's actually a praying mantis egg sac. So it looks similar, but it's harder and that's fluffy and cute. Deadly. This is a citrus, so that's a lemon, and there's a little moth in there pollinating. So moths are good too. I've learned to really love moths. I thought butterflies over moths, but now with Sam, I'm thinking, I really like the moths. This is the non-native. You don't want to see those guys because these are the native ones, correct? Does anyone know what that is? Do you ever plant pentas? And you go out there and all your pentas are gone? Yeah, Tursa moth. So I went out and all my pentas were gone and I'm like, what in the world happened? And that was my penta and it's a Tursa moth. Really cool moth. Does anyone know what these are? Yeah, I see a lot of posts online and people are like, what are these? They're all over my yard. I'm trying to kill them. And it's like, so those are ladybug larvae. And then this
Alligators.
yeah, little alligators. And then this little crunchy looking guy, that's your ladybug. He's about to turn into a ladybug. So just leave it there. It's okay. What about that? Does anyone know what that is? Bagworms. They're going to take your cedar tree. I remember when I was little, my mom would say, go out and pull all those bagworms off. And I didn't know what it was. I'd just pull them and throw them out in the street. And then you'd see the little creeping across the street. And I'm like, don't do that anymore. And then who grows tomatoes and peppers? What is that guy? Yep, that's your hornworm.
Yeah, well.
But that's going to be that, right? And then that's your red salvia gray guy. So yeah, people love the moths, but they don't love the caterpillar. So plant extra. What's that?
Just grow extra.
Yeah, grow extra extra tomatoes, extra peppers. Or if you have chickens. What's that? Datura. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then they go to my ajuga like crazy. My ajuga is full of those in the evening. The butterflies or the moths. It's really neat. And then these little guys that totally went blank. Hoverflies, yeah. So it's fun when you look. There's a lot going on out there. And then if there's ever a bug and you're like, what in the world? This is a good site to go to. Does anyone know Wizzy Brown? Okay, she is with Tamu. I'll say Tamu. She knows any bug, anything. You can look at her, look up her on Facebook too. But she would probably prefer that you go here instead of just ask her directly. She'd be really busy.
You got that one on your.
Okay, great.
I had looked at.
Oh yeah, I probably do on the handout. Okay, so who has left all their leaf litter? Good job. Who cringes when you see the bagged up leaves? I get really sad. I want to like grab them all and go put them in my compost. What's that? Yeah, see, I've actually thought about doing it, so I think I'll go pick them up.
Brought it home, made compost.
Yeah, if you see them, just go put it in your compost.
That's what else knows either.
And why am I saying to do that? Because why would you do that? Yeah, compost is good, but all these like chrysalis and different things are probably in there. So this right here looks like what? Sticks and leaves? Well, there's a moth inside there. See the silk? So somebody would throw that away. They'd break it up, throw it away. This was my frostweed, and I thought, oh, I really want to cut it. I really want to cut it because it's so big and it just looks terrible. Now I've learned to love that look. But I started to move it, and then here's a chrysalis behind there. That's a pipevine. So just leave it alone. This is the firewood pile, and this guy came out. So there was a chrysalis in there at one point. So now when I use my fire pit, I have to really look and shake off the logs and make sure there's nothing in there. And then these are the chrysalis for the pipevine. They're really pretty, different colors. The colors, they kind of camouflage, but sometimes they'll be green on a brown thing. So I don't think they're trying to necessarily. The zinnia, if you pull out the dried, help me. The dried flower, there's a seed on the end of it, yeah. And then they're usually pink. Has anyone noticed that? I don't know why they're usually pink. So if you have orange and you reseed it, they turn pink for me.
What plant is it?
Zinnia?
Oh,
Yeah, they turn pink. I don't know why. Maybe that's the original? I don't know. Yeah, so you never know what's all inside here. Plus, what are the other benefits for leaving the leaves?
laziness and it's life.
Insulation, fertilizer. Yeah, it's good for the soil. Habitat, yep. Lots of bugs. Yeah, and I noticed that if you go out there and move stuff around, something's gonna scurry. There's a lot going on out there. And if you leave it, you'll have more stuff later. And the birds are out there poking around, and the ones that are here, like the little juncos, they're looking around for all that stuff. So the more plants, the more bugs, the more birds, right? Who loves birds? You're not a bird.
I'm not bird. I love birds, so
Yes.
someone's name.
And that's okay. You know, more
Well,
about
I do,
berries.
but I use that, if I hear the birds, I use my app to hear them and try to learn their songs, and that's helping me.
Yeah. The Merlin app.
The Merlin.
Yeah, the Merlin app is really good. If you hear a bird and you're like, what is that? It's usually right. So more plants, more flowers, trees, seeds, you'll have more birds, more insects, more birds. So again, with the beautyberry, the mockingbird pretty much eats those before it even gets cold. So I don't know why they do that. Mahonia, pigeonberry, coralberry, the dried flower seeds. So if you can leave your coneflowers looking yucky, they're going to pull that stuff off and they're going to eat. And then the hummingbirds. I've had hummingbirds in all of these. Salvia, red yucca, phlox, the Bruellia they love. Flamicanthus big time. Turk's cap. Any other that you notice hummingbirds? What's that?
Standing cypress.
Standing cypress. That's right. That's true. Anything else? Nope. We're almost wrapping up, guys. Thank you. You guys see these in your yard right now? Desert willow. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Does anyone have these in their yard? It's the goldfinch, American goldfinch. I didn't think I had them, and I was so sad, and I was wait. I finally put my glasses on. I'm like, okay, I have them. So if you don't think you have them, put your glasses on.
What is it?
American goldfinch.
Oh,
But I just was like, I'm so sad because I didn't think I had them. And then, or my glasses at home. So I just love them. They're so cute. And they'll come when it gets cold. It's usually the Jocos first, I think, and then the goldfinch. So Texas has 630 of the 900 bird species. That's a lot. There's a little dove. He's doing his yoga pose. And then I love to see this. I shop at Wild Birds Unlimited. Does anyone else buy their seed there?
okay.
Yeah, I love them. You're going to pay for it, but you're paying for seed instead of this filler. So that just ends up on the ground and nobody eats it, right? So again, native plants, they're good because the insects feed on those plants, then the seeds and the berries that the birds are used to. Everyone's used to that. One native oak tree supports 500 species of caterpillars, and a pair of chickadees will eat 6,000 to 9,000 caterpillars. That's a lot. So, and these are the plants and trees that they're used to. So
I just want to know who took the time to count those.
that's true. One of the birders would know probably. For all the caterpillars. I guess every time it went, it was like, okay, there's more, there's more. These guys, the little wrens, those are poking all around the yard right now, digging in that leaf litter, right? And then I love this little cardinal. So the cardinals feed in the open dishes. This guy's in my yard watching all the little birds. Usually takes out a dove. How many of you have gone outside and there's a big poof of dove feathers? Probably a hawk. And then lights out. Does anyone know about lights out? Yep. If you don't, look it up, but it's a great program. And then you can get some volunteer hours if you go help. So these little guys, they usually like that suet, then the woodpeckers, and then this cage is how I keep the squirrels out. Any other questions there or anything that you guys? Yeah, the cage. Yeah. You don't get big birds in there, but then usually the big birds like the open. Any other suggestions here that you guys like or you've noticed? What is it? Bark butter. Yeah. I think that's, I put that right there. The bark butter bits is really good too. They have the bits or they have the bark butter that you smooth on. And I have the lady that works there, she'll just stick it on a tree and then they go to it and eat it. Who has all these lovely signs in your yard? You can get certified and they know you're a certified crazy plant person, right? The Monarch Way Station. I did not know there's a National Garden Club certified butterfly garden.
Native Prairies has one too.
Yeah, I have that one too. I need to add it. Wildlife habitat. And then this was fun. Discovery Gardens. I don't know if they still do that. I can't find it. But when I filled everything out and sent it in, he wrote back and said, "This is the first time I've never had to recommend a plant." So, and he asked me for seeds. Cool. Okay. These are a couple just different things. Yeah. Ooh, don't say ooh. That was in our yard. If you ever have a wildlife emergency, DFW Wildlife Hotline is great. Or this is an app you can put on your phone, Animal Help Now, and you put in the zip code and then they'll give you rehabbers and everybody that you can contact if they need it. Quiz time. Which one is the pipevine?
On the left.
Oh, the right. Pipevine is one row, and then here's your 2 rows on the Eastern Black. Good job. Which one is the monarch? The left.
I can recognize.
Yes, Monarch, Queen. And they look like females. Yeah. And you can see the chrysalis right here. That one just came out. And that's not a native plant. I know, sorry. But I love it. It's Mexican bush sage, but not native. Which one is the male? Male, female. So they mix it up. The blue is the Eastern Black for the female. And then that's the female. They're confusing, right? They just change it up so we don't know what's going on.
Can you recognize a butterfly in flight?
Yeah, just the pipevine, because of the
In flight when they're flying?
yeah, because I can see
Like this.
they're really fast. Yeah, they're really fast. And then that blue. Pipevine's real fast, and the blue, you can kind of see it when they're in flight. That's the question. Which one is Frida? That's Miss Frida, and this is us from last Monday. We're on Fox 4 because she's a therapy dog. We go to senior living, libraries, schools, and pretty soon UT Southwest. So that was fun to be. It's like Hometown Heroes. Here's to you. So she's the hometown hero. And then Cooper, he was the Irish setter I had before her. And then this was fun. He was going to be 14, and yeah, I'm that person that gets professional photos with their dog. But he turned 14, and we met my friend in Waco, and she did photos. Well, these monarchs were coming out that morning, and I knew that we were going the right direction. So I took them and it was still cold, so we were able to use them in the photos. So that was fun. And then I like this quote, perhaps the butterflies prove you can go through a great deal of darkness and still become something beautiful. And that's it. Thank you.